Hello, Season 19, Master I Mekk-Knight Crusadia, let's go. Took me a week to get here. Today is 7th July my time, so yeah, I mean, pretty much on pace compared to previous seasons. It's always been about a week or so. You know, with better metas, it's been, slightly less, but it's never really been like extremely long of a climb, I would say, but definitely wasn't easy. And win rate obviously will not be great playing a deck with this kind of power level. But as you can see, I wrapped up with a 3-game win streak. Which, it's nothing impressive, but it's just to show that you can still get some results playing this 2018-2019 deck. Okay, let's say 2020 because of Lit, right? But yeah, this deck is so outdated at this point, and frankly, at the start of the season, I really thought like this might be it. Like I wouldn't actually get to Master 1 because in Diamond 5, where I started, based on last season's results, yeah, I was really stuck for a while, and I just couldn't get a win streak going. And I was playing, of course, last season's deck list at that point, which was OTK Crusadia. But maybe I was just tired that day, and then after that, I did in fact manage to climb to Master 5 from Diamond 5 using Crusadia OTK, which was the list from last season. But at Master 5, wow, it's just that OTK list, man. It's just not cutting it anymore, especially against better players. And when you climb, as I said before, when you climb this early in the season, you get the better, you get the more committed. Okay, maybe not better, right? Because a lot of good players don't climb immediately either. But you get the more committed players and the more sweaty players, including myself. Of course, I'm sweaty. I'm climbing here with Mekk-Knight Crusadia, right? But yeah, so the player pool is a lot more sweaty and committed and just cutthroat. The deck lists are gonna be a lot more optimized. There's nobody really gonna be climbing this high this early with a suboptimal list, whatever suboptimal means, but basically deck lists with a lot of flaws probably don't rise up that quickly. And of course deck lists with low power level like this one won't rise very quickly either. But the point is, once I hit Master 5, wow, it's like a huge brick wall. I couldn't chain wins. I just kept losing like crazy. I lost at one point my win rate literally was 10%. I had like two wins in 20 games or something. I looked at my match history. It was horrible. And of course, OTK Crusadia is extremely quick, right? It's very obvious when you don't have it and you just scoop. So it didn't really take that long to get through those 20 games. But yeah, that was crazy. So after that, I started experimenting a lot with different deck lists. Well, actually, give me a second, because I've actually written up the Master Duel meta upload on the site, but I haven't uploaded it yet because I wanted to record this video first and then have this video up before the list gets updated on the website, upload it to the website, so people can immediately see this if they somehow decide to click on the Mekk-Knight Crusadia list. But yeah, so I'm just going to refer to what I wrote because, it's freshly written. I just got all my thoughts out, so I might as well just refer to it, right? But yeah, so I spent a lot of time testing different concepts, and I kept getting destroyed playing each one of them. And believe me, I discussed with friends as well, what I should do, because I really was at a loss. I tried Go First Big Combo Crusadia, trying to end on Astrum plus Nightmare Griffin, which, World Chalice can do that. Crusadia is not a link spam deck. No matter how it looks, no matter what people say, Crusadia isn't a link spam deck. We don't plus off the link summons. We just don't. We don't float. We don't do anything. It's really the link summoning. We have the most basic link summoning dynamic amongst any link deck, really, because Crusadia was basically designed to introduce link summoning, right? So it's not a link spam deck. It's definitely not a Cybers type deck, and it can't get to Astrum plus Griffin reliably without basically expending a lot of your hand resources. And those bodies are just like one body. It's just not enough plussing. So that didn't work, and moreover, ending on Astrum plus Griffin just isn't gonna work. And then I tried Go First World Legacy, which was more in line with the World Legacy Survivor deck list, my favorite deck list of all time. But yeah, Survivor is still good value, but I just felt that the Go First board wasn't cutting it anymore against, like, it wasn't even that long ago, right? It was like 3-4 months ago, but wow, the meta changes so quickly, and suddenly, like, setting up the World Legacy Secret plus Crusadia Vanguard board just isn't enough anymore. And moreover, as we all know, the Bystials have hit, so World Legacy Secret is no longer reliable as a form of disruption. When they don't have a Bystial, great, you summon Indigo from the graveyard, everything is hunky-dory, but a lot of times you won't get that, and there are ways to play around Bystials, and I think some of the replays I will show in this video, will show how I do that. But yeah, it's just the power level of Go First World Legacy was never high, but it was good for a while because that was before the graveyard hate, the shifters and fissures, and then now Bystials hit, right? So now I don't think it's as viable, unfortunately, and I'm not sure when it will ever be viable again, because as long as Bystials are around and tiers remain at this power level, like, it's gonna be really hard. The shufflers especially, right? They really mess with the World Legacy strategy. So that's the problem. And then I also tried Kaiser Coliseum plus Astrum, which did nothing, although it was a funny experiment. I tried Stun Crusadia, literally, you know how many games I played with that, like just having traps, a whole bunch of traps, Storming Mirror Force, what else? Storming Mirror Force, Compulse, and then of course the Solemns and all that, and the idea was just, sit on Astrum and back him up with all these traps, and the reason I tried that was because I was so tired of Max C just ruining me, right? So having and this was of course inspired by the fact that there's a lot of stun now. Like, stun is literally a rogue deck now. It's risen in popularity and viability just because of how good a matchup it has against everything else. And so I thought, maybe I should borrow some of that, the concept, and so sometimes I have like 1 Crusadia and 4 traps in hand, and I can summon I can normal summon the Crusadia and then set the 4 traps, and then they try and swing in, and I have Storming Mirror Force and stuff, and it was cool. But then in the end, there just wasn't enough going on in a Stun Crusadia deck, and it fundamentally boils down to the fact that Crusadia as an engine just doesn't do enough. Unfortunately, I've really experimented for so long at the start of the season. I really have to say, like, Go First Crusadia without the Mekk-Knights, without the World Legacy engine, just cannot do enough. Now, of course, I'm not speaking about the mega big combos with like Garnets and stuff, like Kaiju, Gameciel Control, like Ancient Fairy Dragon combos. Like, I can't speak to those because I didn't try those, because personally I just don't like playing big combo decks where I click 50 times in the same way every single game. I don't want to click like 100 times, man. Like, I just want to get through things really quickly. So that's not my style. But I'm not saying that those can't work. Of course, when you lean on external engines like that, you're gonna have a lot more options and solutions and answers to different decks. So that I can't speak to those. But I'm saying just purely Crusadia based Go First, really not looking good. Very limited. And there's only so much you can trade, and of course stuff like Vanguard, I love Vanguard, Crusadia Vanguard's art is amazing, but it just isn't good enough value, considering you have to tribute a Crusadia to get there. I mean, it's just so many limitations. Anyway, I've rambled on enough. Let me move on to the next point, which is, so the problem. So I've already discussed the problem of these builds. So in the end, it came down to basically, do I stick with the OTK, or do I just try going back to the deck that I played during Sprite meta before tiers, which was a board wipe mid-range Mekk-Knight Crusadia, and I do have replays on this channel. I think, I forgot which season it was, 15, I think? Yeah, 15, right? yeah, I mean, maybe I'm wrong about that, but you can just scroll back. You can see the game plan here is basically stuff full of board breakers and then set up to play the mid-range game with World Legacy Secret as the control element. Now the problem with that, of course, is that the Bystials, and of course, you know, the release of tier shufflers and all the, you know, graveyard hate, like you know, Necro Valley included, those all make the World Legacy engine a liability, and therefore World Legacy Secret a liability. But there really is no other option if you're trying to play like a pure Mekk-Knight Crusadia, you know, as pure as you can get, right? Mekk-Knight Crusadia list. You have to use World Legacy Secret. I have poured over all 50-ish World Legacy cards a million times now, and I've tried my best to unearth new dynamics. I just cannot find any other card that does enough for the game plan, other than World Legacy Secret. It just really is, you know, Crusadia without World Legacy Secret just won't do enough. So I have to, you have to bite the bullet if you want to play this deck, and take the L's when the Bystials banish your Indigo from the grave when you try and summon off Secret. That's just how it is. You're gonna auto lose a lot, but you're also gonna win a lot of games that pure Crusadia just had no way of winning. And of course, when the OTK gets foiled and you have no alternative win con, you know, that's gonna depress your win rate a lot more than, you know, having the Bystials mess with World Legacy Secret. And of course, like, you know, Bystials are so common, like every single deck's playing it, so it's more likely than not that World Legacy Secret won't be able to do a thing. But the point is, when I play a non-OTK list, I'm able to include the best board breaker in the entire game, which is evenly matched. Wait, actually, why am I not showing the deck? Okay, wait. So yeah, check out the bling here. Okay, wait. Let me show you this deck. Yeah, why was I not on the deck list? Anyway, so yeah, this is the best board breaker in the entire game. Goes second, lives and dies by this card. It's just literally evenly matched, right? You have to get your opponent to be evenly matched with you, because nowadays these boards are so freaking greedy and just absurd and just very toxic, honestly. Like, you know, you look at the Sprite boards, like, what? If you go second against Sprite and you don't have hand traps, you're not gonna break that board, right? But if you have two evenly matched, you can. so that's just an example. Yeah, this is the best board breaker in the game by far. It's good against everything. Of course, like nowadays there's a lot of Omni negate, Spell Trap negate, blah blah, but still, like, being able to play this card really increases the viability of a go second strategy. So, you know, by not playing Crusadia OTK and just switching back to this mid-range board wipe Mekk-Knight Crusadia, I'm able to play this card, and it really just, yeah, it just gives me more of a fighting chance. And also, we have to note that the fact that the OTK strategy worked well in the last two seasons boils down only to the tiers matchup. It's because, you know, the Crusadias and of course the Mekk-Knights are all inherent summons. We don't care about Rukalos. We can wipe the back row, and of course we could have played a red reboot in the OTK strategy, and you know, that shuts off Sulliek, that shuts off, well, maybe not Crime, depends, but yeah, and then you just have to deal with Hafnis if you Lightning Storm, so etc. So it's not like yeah, the tiers matchup was decent, as I've said many times now. So that's why the OTK build worked in the last two seasons. But now, you know, especially after the Duelist Cup and not Duelist Cup, after the WCQ, when everybody realized Sprite is still like such a dominant ladder deck. Now that Sprite's back in the meta in full force, and of course branded because of all the new support, those boards are not gonna be broken by, you know, 6 kaijus and like 2 change of heart and 3 mind control. Like, you're not gonna do that. Now I know that 8 axis is still very viable because I faced a couple, and I think on MDM actually there was an 8 axis list that we just got uploaded. So that's good, because you can, you know, those kaijus you can actually use on your side of the field reliably as part of your win con, whereas in Crusadia it's like you have to draw the kaijus or else you can't really OTK. And then, you know, if you have multiple kaijus, it's pretty much poor value. It's not a dead card in hand, but it's extremely poor value, and you're already far behind at that point. 8-axis doesn't have that problem, and of course 8-axis has draw power. Very important, right? They have trade-in, they have Denko Seka and all that stuff. So none of that is really possible here. Yes, I did play Pot of Desires, but again, like, we can't compare the dynamic of a Crusadia OTK list to an 8-axis OTK list or 8-axis blind second list. You just can't. So yeah, and then the reasons. Yeah, so again, big monster spam boards. Sprite, Dragon Link, and Branded especially make the 1-for-1 monster removal text just too poor value. I'm talking again about Kaiju's Change of Heart Mind Control that I played the last 2 seasons. Now I feel like any 1-for-1 tech is just poor value, considering how fragile the main combo lines are. You know, you have to normal summon a Crusadia, go to Magius, and then you get banished by Mirror Jade, GG. Or you know, you summon a Purple Nightfall, and then you try and get the Mekk-Knight line started, and then Purple Nightfall gets banished by Mirror Jade, and then GG. You know, and then Sprite, you know, they just have like a bazillion negates, and you know, it's just so toxic. Yeah, 1-for-1 techs are just too poor value, especially with a resource-starved deck like this. Now, I won't say that Crusadia is inefficient, because, you know, by definition, I think the combo itself is quite efficient, but the hands are very inefficient. The hands are very demanding, and that's why really I always lean more toward like board wipe, you know, massive value board breakers, just because otherwise going second you just can't keep up with the kind of advantage, the card advantage that your opponents generate reliably. If you don't open a hand trap against Dragon Link, wow, that board is just insane. Against Branded, you know, now they even have freaking Branded Beast. Branded Beast? Yeah, you know, now they even have freaking back row like destruction and stuff. It's absolutely insane. So yes, that's why the OTK strategy and a Kaiju-based Crusadia OTK strategy just isn't very good anymore. And the second thing, of course, deck diversity, which is always a good thing in the meta, of course, but not when the freaking decks are also toxic and just create unbreakable boards. But you know, in theory, deck diversity is good, but that makes the outs that you draw a lot less reliable, which means it's a lot better to have an alternative win condition. Before I was just, you know, Crusadia OTK, you either have it or you don't, right? And then you just scoop. Yeah, you can go into Astrum and sit for a few turns, but you're just wasting your time, because then you only have Astrum and they just kind of combo off freely, and they always have an out to Astrum nowadays. If it's not Goddess, it's like a banish, right? So having an alternative win condition is really so important. I can't stress it enough. Like, again, during the tiers meta, tier 0 meta, yes, Crusadia OTK, get the job done. Wham bam, thank you man. Against a diverse meta, especially where most of the decks are just monster spam boards, and of course tier is also monster spam board, but that dynamic's a little different with Crusadias, right? But against Sprite, Branded, and Dragon Link, again, how are you always going to have the right outs? You just really can't. So sometimes you have the 2 Crusadias in hand and like 4 board breakers, but you know, they happen to be like Red Reboot, Lightning Storm, Duster, and something, and then you really actually needed a monster removal, then you're finished, even though you actually have like the Crusadia combo, right? So having an alternative win con like allows you to sort of, you know, you break the board a little bit, and then you can still establish something, and then maybe trade in value like the next couple turns. Hopefully, that's the idea. Of course, it's not easy, and it never really works out that smoothly, but the idea is that you need to have, you know, I personally have always felt that your deck needs to have multiple like options and strategies. And if you look back all my deck lists before tier 0 meta, it's always been mid-range, because I really believe that mid-range is peak Yu-Gi-Oh, and I really like the idea of a deck having many answers to different questions. But yeah, so again, like Crusadia OTK line, as I said before, very demanding on your hand, because you need the 2 Crusadias, and you need them to be unique Crusadias, otherwise you just get a dead Crusadia card in your hand, which is why I really have always been against playing more than 10 Crusadias in general, or more than 9 Crusadias, 10 or more. I think that's just really bad, because your hands start getting extremely low in value. Even 8 I'm not a big fan of. I think 5 actually was like, I was most comfortable with that, but you know, if I played 5 Crusadias, I would have been playing more Mekk-Knights. and I honestly want to be able to see the Crusadias a lot more often. Plus, also, having 3 Maximus and having like the Crusadia line available more often, enables the OTK more frequently, which means I have more answers to different questions and different board states again. So there are pros and cons to playing more 5 versus 8 Crusadias, but I think it's really up to you how you want to do it. For me, I settled on 8 this time just because I cut this down from like 13, so I didn't actually go all the way down to 5. So maybe I should have tried cutting to 5 Crusadias, but whatever. But yeah, so again, like oh man, I keep saying again, sorry, but when you play 13 to 15 Crusadias, half your deck is just like the very poor value normal summon main deck monsters that just don't do anything on their own. It's very terrible value, and then it makes it very difficult to fit a supporting engine like World Legacy or even anything else. I don't know, like Punk Crusadia, I don't know whatever else. You just don't have the space to fit a full supporting engine into the list while also having the requisite number of Crusadia monsters plus board breakers. It's just extremely difficult to get consistency and actually just consistency, and also hand diversity when you do it that way. So I've always been a big proponent of mid-range Mekk-Knight Crusadia, and this is what it is. Again, I lost plenty of games automatically because it's now very normal for first turn boards to be super greedy. But the thing that helped was, I think Super Poly going to 3. I tried it at 3, but in the end it was a bit too bricky, so I went down to 2. Super Poly definitely helped. For a lot of my testing, I wasn't playing Super Poly, and then I remembered, actually, Garura came out. Why don't I try Super Poly? And then, so I put 3 in, and then I'll cut it 2, and then put in like 3 targets. I wish there were a target for Sword Soul and Sprite. Although for Sprite you could play what's that? Earth Golem. Yeah, this one I think it's fine. Yeah, this guy. Yeah, you could also play this one as a Super Poly target. This one will get rid of IP Masquerena and Sprite Elf, which is nice. But yeah, I never really had to do it, but I think it's probably worth cutting 1 Magius for Earth Golem. Now I think about it, because I really never used the second Magius that much. A couple times, yes, but I feel like maybe Earth Golem might have been good. Anyway, you can try it and let me know. But yeah, so Garura and Super Poly, and of course the other, Dragos de Pelia, that's amazing card to be able to summon, so that's good. This package solves a number of boards that otherwise I had zero hope against. But you don't expect Super Poly to be some kind of silver bullet that dramatically increases your win rate, because it didn't for me. It didn't. It just allowed me to have a fighting chance against more different boards, and yeah, I mean, it's just a very good board breaker. The fact that they can't respond to it is just so big, like can't even explain. So yeah, I cut my Lightning Storm from 3 to 2, just to account for the fact that now I have like so many different board breakers, hopefully to deal with a variety of situations. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we'll count this as 7. So I got like 7 different board breakers, a mix of back row and monster removal, and of course the best board breaker in the game. Like, in terms of board breaking, I think this is a pretty solid list. Maybe 1 extra board breaker might have been good, but I'm not so sure. Yeah, I was pretty comfortable with this, I think, overall. So stun is everywhere, right? Runic is back for some reason. That's why Cosmic Cyclone is back. But Cosmic Cyclone is really, as I said before, 1 for 1 I really don't like. But it's really the best way of getting rid of Fountain. So you kind of have to do it. And of course it won me a few games against Runic. Cosmic Cyclone, definitely. So for that reason alone, I don't think it was a bad decision. But if I had a choice, considering how it was quite poor value a lot of the time. I would have preferred maybe an extra Mekk-Knight plus a Pot of Prosperity. In my opinion, that's what I've done. One Mekk-Knight here and one Pot of Prosperity, just to improve consistency and to draw deeper into the deck to try and get like evenly matched if I need it. Like sometimes I have one evenly matched and a Cosmic Cyclone, and I was thinking, oh man, if only I had Pot of Prosperity here and I could just, you know, fetch the second evenly matched, and then I can break the sprite board. So yeah, maybe. But again, like I said, deck diversity, man, like it just makes it so difficult to prepare for all the different matchups. You kind of, for me, I just bit the bullet and took 2 Cosmic Cyclones, but you know, you can try something else if you want. And as for the extra Mekk-Knight, I would probably, you know, in the past it's always been like 3 blue sky and 3 purple and 1 indigo. That's the standard Mekk-Knight package, but you know, increasingly I've felt that, especially for a mid-range strategy where, you know, purple obviously has peak value because he just keeps coming back, that's great, but 3 blue sky probably wasn't that necessary in the end. If I swapped one of the Cyclones out, I would probably play Red Moon, even though Red Moon's effect really doesn't mean anything. It's just an extra unique Mekk-Knight name, and you know, blue sky can pull more Mekk-Knights from the board if you have more unique names, so that's always a nice thing to have. I'd say try to have more unique Mekk-Knight names over having a 3rd blue sky. That's just my opinion. Yeah, 2 Girsu here, so this is a nice boost. Girsu is by far the best normal summon in this deck. Girsu is definitely the best normal summon in World Legacy, period. But Girsu doesn't give you the Crusadia Magus line, which is a trade-off, and sometimes when I open like Girsu plus Crusadia, I have to make a choice between normal summoning Girsu or normal summoning any Crusadia name and then going to Magus. Wait, hold on, what's this noise in the background? Jeez, sorry, it's a different program. Okay, so yeah, I don't like opening Girsu plus a Crusadia. That's just very sad. But and that's actually potentially a reason to cut this Crusadias back down to like 5 or 6 even. But I didn't get a chance to try that, so maybe you can. But yeah, you know, when you have to make that choice, I tend to go for Girsu and just use the Crusadia as a special summon body. At the very least, you know, Girsu into Lip, then I summon the Crusadia under Lip. I can go into, you know, a Link 3 Elite Equimax or potentially Astrum if I also have a different Mekk-Knight to summon under Lip. Then I can make IP and then just go into Astrum, right? So that's cool. But yeah, you know, the Crusadia as a free special summon body, it's very poor value, but it's at least something. So I tend to just go with Girsu normal summon, because if you normal summon the Crusadia, then you have a dead Girsu in hand, and you don't necessarily get access to the best card in the entire deck. Once again, Lip, the World Keyblade Master. So that's how I usually play it. But I wouldn't be averse to cutting the Crusaders down to maybe 7 or 6. You know, who knows? But I have to make the case again for 3 Maximus. This is something I really never did before, but after playing the last 2 seasons of OTK, Crusadia, I've really started to like just bonking with Equimax again after so many years. So yeah, I play 3 Maximus, and actually I feel like playing 3 Maximus changed a lot. Later, as I show you the replays for the last 5 games in the run-up to Master 1, yeah, you'll see why Maximus is so freaking important, actually. So yeah, 3 Maximus. Arborea is still the best normal summon, because you never want to summon Maximus if you can help it, because if you normal summon Maximus, go into Magus, right? Maximus is now in the grave. You fetch Draco and you try and get Maximus from the grave, they're gonna banish Maximus and then your OTK is gone. So I always prefer the normal. You basically have to normal summon a different Crusadia if you can. And then hopefully you open Maximus as well, so you can hold Maximus in your hand the whole time, and then just special summon him once Equimax is already on the board, and then nothing can stop the OTK at that point. So that's why I play 3 Maximus, just to improve the probability of opening one. But then doesn't mean that opening one Maximus means you. Doesn't mean that opening Maximus means you summon Maximus. No. No, sorry. Doesn't mean that opening Maximus means you normal summon Maximus. No, in the past, yes, that's how you would have done it. Normal summon Maximus, get Draco, get Maximus back, blah blah blah. But now, because of Bystials, you gotta play differently, man. So you hold the Maximus in hand, and you hopefully have other special summons to try and get to Equimax, and then special summon Maximus below Equimax for the double damage. That's just my suggestion. Okay, and then also when World Legacy Succession is available, play around Bystials. Make sure there was a game where I just autopiloted in World Legacy Succession, try and revive Maximus, and that was not a good time because then they banished Maximus and I got screwed. But when you use Succession to revive like Draco, Arborea, even Ash or Maxi, they can't Bystial that, so your Succession still has value. It goes through, and you still manage to summon a body on the board, so that's nice, and then you get access to Lit, right? So that's all cool. But just remember to play around Bystials in general. Oh yeah, and so because there's no World Crown, so basically this second Gear Suit took the World Crown spot. And in the end, I do think that the second Gear Suit is better value in this slot, just because it improves consistency as a starter. Starters are so important. So usually with Gear Suit I would send Succession to the graveyard, and then Lip can set Secret. Or if I don't have a Mekk-Knight, then Lip can set Memory. Although if I get to that point where I'm setting Memory, then it's just really sad. I don't think I win a lot if Lip is setting Memory. So that's just how it is. But yeah, let me see what else. So 8 Crusadias. Okay, so yeah, again, the Crusadias with 8 you just get more access to Equimax OTK, which is always nice. And having more tools in your toolbox is always a good thing. 3 Maximus. Okay, Gear Suit, Blue Sky. Yeah, not much else to say. I think board breakers speak for themselves. Imperm. Yeah, I think that's that. Oh, what's missing here? Called by the Grave and Crossout. Honestly, if I could, I would play them. Maxi really is annoying, but yeah, I just couldn't fit it. Couldn't fit the 3 Maxi text cards within the 40 card list. Maybe Cosmic goes out for a 2 called by. Maybe that would have improved my win rate, perhaps. Or maybe even, I don't know, like 1 Super Poly and 1 Cosmic out for 2 called buys. I don't know, maybe, think about it. Maybe you can try it. I'm not sure, but for me this was what worked. Let me see what else. Extra deck speaks for itself, blah blah blah, same thing. Okay, I don't think there's much else to say. Let me just show you the replays now. Wait, let me think. Okay, you know what, yeah, if I did forget something, just ask me in the comments, or maybe I'll write something in the comments, blah blah blah. But yeah, I think there's not much else to say. The playstyle of this. Oh, actually, someone did ask in the past for like a dummies guide for how to play like mid-range Mekk-Knight Crusadia, because that was the deck list I always played. So actually, maybe that's something I will do in the next. Like in the next week or 2, not immediately. I'll think about it. So for dummies guide on how to play and what to do, how to think about it. But maybe these replays will help, right? So let's have a look at them. Sorry, somebody came in my room, so I had to restart. But yeah, let's check out the match history. Oh wait, but before that, just wanted to say, so under last month's list on Master Duel Meta, the Crusadia OTK list that I uploaded, somebody commented, "Oh great, now upload the deck you actually climbed with," because like they're thinking, how can Mekk-Knight Crusadia, how can Crusadia get to Master 1? In this day and age, against like Tears, Branded, Sprite, Dragon Link, Runic, all that kind of crap. How is it possible? And moreover, how can this janky Mekk-Knight Crusadia hybrid get there? And moreover, how can this janky list from this trash list from this guy who just, so many half the deck is board breakers, how do you even get there? Well, y'all gotta stop doubting the power of friendship deck, man. Like, I'm gonna show you these replays right now. Yeah, last few games till the rank up, so you can see. But just don't throw baseless accusations around, because people spend their time and energy and of course we have fun, we're trying to climb with our pet deck, but we spend this much effort trying to get our pet deck to work, and we spend so much time experimenting and tinkering and testing, trying to solve this meta, right? Like trying to overcome this challenge, right? That's what the spirit of the game is, especially when you play with such a low power level deck against these insane meta decks with like very good players, amazing players, skillful players. Like beating them is part of the challenge and it's part of the fun, and that's what makes the game worth playing. I don't want to be the type to just get carried to the top rank with by like a really strong deck. So I wanted to make this work, and then we put in this effort, and then you're just like you have no grounds to really doubt it. You're just like hating because you can't conceive it actually happening, or can't conceive yourself actually doing it. But the fact is, people do it. Any deck can get to Master 1 or the top rank with time. Maybe the problem is I get there too early, so people find it unbelievable. But you can't take, nothing can take away from the fact that I actually did it. So I'm just gonna show you. But again, one of the decks I actually played in, I think the second last deck that I played was like a Witchcrafter deck. Yes, it had Bystials and Branded and blah blah blah, but Witchcrafter as a core is, I don't think it's like that much better than Crusadia either. So at that power level, I was seeing them in like Master 2, right? So people, you can get there. It's just a matter of effort. You have to grind. Your win rate's not gonna be great, of course, but you can get there, and it's a testament to, of course, willpower and perseverance, right? I think that's worth celebrating. And so let's not hate, let's not be toxic and negative. We should encourage more people to try and climb with the decks that they actually like to play, right? Not like every new release in Master Duel and then everybody just builds the new meta deck and then they want the meta deck to carry them to the top rank. I'm not saying that everybody who plays like Tears or Sprite or Dragon Link or Branded is being carried, right? There are plenty of really skilled players, especially this early in the season, definitely. But there's also a lot of people that just get carried by these strong decks by virtue of the power level till the end, and I don't think that's particularly worth celebrating more than someone doing it with a rogue deck, or even someone doing it with an untiered deck like Crusadia, like Witchcrafter, that kind of thing. It's laudable, isn't it? So as a community, let's try and be more encouraging and just positive, right? More deck diversity is good. The spirit of overcoming challenges is part of the Yu-Gi-Oh anime, part of the game. That's what makes it worth playing. So yeah, let's just hopefully these replays sort of quell your doubts. So yeah, you can see 3-win streak into Master 1. Lost this rank up game here, I think, and but managed to close out. You can see these games are really short. That's really just how it is, I think, because the fact is, we can't deny that to win with such a weak deck, you need a lot of luck. You need your opponent to brick up, potentially. You need to open the best card in the game, Max C. A lot of games are going to be just not exciting back and forths. Not the kind of duels that you envisage, but they're just going to be very quick and easy, dirty kind of victories because the other opponent the other player just doesn't want to sit through like the back and forth. They think that you've already got the upper hand, blah blah blah. There's a lot of like results that turn out that way. So the problem with these, the reason why I don't want to just like show like every single replay in the last 20 is because a lot of them are just really boring, and you're gonna see why. So I think what I want to do is maybe show you like 3 to 5. Actually, how long was the previous segment? Let me just check. Okay, it's like 30 minutes, right? So I don't know if I want to show like maybe like 3, but then they're all wins. Okay, I'll just show you like at least 5 and then we'll be done with it because they're pretty fast. But the point is, the more interesting duels I will upload in full once I have time to go through them, because I need to rewatch all the footage and then try and find the ones that actually are worth uploading in full, because you're not gonna learn a lot from any of these duels, I can promise you. But let's just go. Because the idea is, I want to upload like full game replay so you can see how the entire game flows, right? But then I also want you to be able to learn something, like actually get something out of it, because otherwise, like, what's the point? And the fact is, there are a lot of games climbing on the ladder that are just like this. Either the opponent scoops or I just scoop because there's no way to win. And that's just how Yu-Gi-Oh! Is right now. It's very coin flippy. A lot of times if you don't open a hand trap and they just go full combo with all these toxic like go first boards, you name it, like even Adamantipator, all that stuff, like they just spit out like 4 negates, 5 negates, and they drop a maxi on top of that on turn 2. Like you can't do anything about that, so you just scoop, right? So there are a lot of games that are just quick and easy and dirty and just like you get it over with. But the good games worth uploading, I think I need to watch back and then pick them out and then upload them. But for now, you can just see. So again, this goes out to the person who doubted in the previous month's list. Stop doing that, man. Come on. This is Mekk-Knight Crusadia. This is my rank up, and I did it without. Okay, there are no Crusadias here, but you can see. Actually, there will be a Crusadia, but you will see. Okay, so again, yeah, without. Okay, wait, Bystial Rebellion. Without hand traps, even if you open like 2 or 3 board breakers, it's quite likely you don't win. Like hand traps. Like if they go full combo and you just only have board breakers, they're gonna have like spell trap negate, and then you need to really luck out with like 2 evenly matched or something to really get through, right? So it's really a draw to out kind of thing, but that's how going second is, and Konami needs to do better with the game balance. Oh yeah, and this field, man, look, it's so sick. And just look at Imduk here. Just get out of the way. Yeah, look at this Imduk. Beautiful. Okay, so here I'm maxi. So there's an argument to preemptively maxi in draw phase, standby phase if you're trying to play around with triple tactics, but I didn't see it that much these days. So I wait to chain maxi to an actual effect that special summons a monster just to guarantee to draw one. And again, this deck list, and in fact, Crusadia in general, Mekk-Knights, we have no draw power. We generate very little card advantage. So every little advantage that you can get to draw cards, you need to grasp with both hands. So ideally you chain it to an effect that special summons so that you guarantee to draw one or plus. Alright, kit. And the reason I won this game is really imperm. Oh yeah, and also Ash that I luckily drew into. So it's all about luck. You need luck. You're playing a deck like this, you need luck. Against all these oppressive decks, toxic, oppressive, go first decks that just... Okay, yeah, so Ash on Havnis. Sorry, Merly. So you can see 3 hand traps to shut down this toxic tier deck. Oof. And then this is why I said play 3 Maximus. You get a simple game state like this, a seemingly simple game state like this. Remember, they did search Bystial with Bystial Rebellion. So it seems simple, but you want to be able to guarantee a win in more of these game states. So you play 3 Maximus to ensure that you can draw. Now I got lucky with the 3 hand traps, no doubt. If they had shufflers, I was finished. But okay, wait. So first move here, right? Just want to explain. As I said before, don't normal summon Maximus if you can help it. What you want to do is try and build up to Equimax and then special summon Maximus so you can guarantee getting Maximus off. Because if Maximus ends up in the grave, and in this case we knew that they had a Bystial in hand, you're gonna get finished. So what I do is, of course, the other starter in this deck is, Mekk-Knight Purple Nightfall, set the column and special summon him or it, and then they chain Hafnis. I thought I had an open game state, but like, they had Hafnis, so I was like, okay, crap, hopefully they whiff. And they do whiff. So, again, luck. The reason Mekk-Knight Crusadia, the reason I get to Master 1 every single season, or Diamond 1, more than my fair share of luck. I have to be real, it's not all about skill, it's all about luck. Well, it's a lot about luck. More about luck than skill, in my opinion, when you're playing a weak deck like this. With very little in-engine solutions to different problems that your opponents throw at you. Okay, so anyway, they whiffed, so I managed to resolve Nightfall, and I searched Blue Sky, obviously. So again, I'm trying to avoid normal summoning Maximus, so what I'm doing here is going into Girsu. And, well, of course, it would have been nice if I had Blue Sky in hand already, so I could normal summon Girsu first. And then like Girsu can be the one card linked to. Right now, with Blue Sky already on the board, it's an unfortunate thing, but it's going to happen a lot. Where you already have Blue Sky, you search into Girsu, so you don't get the additional card advantage of generating that token and making a link to based on one card. You have to just use both of them to hard make lib, but that's cool. And like I said, I usually send Succession, but in this case, I already, I was smelling blood. I was going for the OTK no matter what. This is my rank up. I really just wanted to hammer this opponent through. So I sent Memory. I had no intention of playing beyond this turn. I had Maximus in hand. I was thinking, okay, one of them is a Bystial. Let's just go for the OTK. Let's keep Maximus in hand, go for the OTK. What could go wrong? All in Gambit. Oh yeah, and also of course, because I had set Succession anyway, I couldn't have sent Succession. I could have sent Secret, but I wanted to set Secret with Lib just in case, right? You just want to play for the contingencies anyway, so yeah, then that's why I sent Memory, and then I use Succession to fetch. Okay, so this is playing around the Bystials that I mentioned. We already know they have a Bystial. If I targeted any of the Mekk-Knights, they would have vanished, and in my combo I wouldn't have enough to OTK. So this was actually a very crucial decision, and it's not a big decision, it's not a big deal. I'm not making it out to be like 200 IQ play, but I'm just saying be aware, and use your revives on non-light/dark monsters. This gives me the link material that I crucially needed to get into Equimax. Well, actually, I think I would have still, I think in this case would have been fine, but anyway, because I had Indigo Eclipse in hand as well for the extra attack boost. But in general, you just want to play well, okay? So make the right plays. Okay, going to Equimax. At this point, I knew probably finished. Bounce Kit, Special Summon Maximus, protecting the OTK. Indigo. Now, I could have just set this here, actually, and Special Summon Indigo here. Actually, that would have been more optimal of a play. It's just safer, but you can't always play perfectly. So, like I said, Indigo is so important for the Crusadia OTK because of all these moving shenanigans, but in this case, it's not really about that. It's just getting that 2400 attack into that zone, boosting the attack, having the double damage, and beating over this helpless Merly. Okay, there we go. Bystial, and they had two Bystials in hand. So Maximus would have been double dead in the graveyard. But yeah, hoo-wee, this was cathartic, and thank you very much. Thanks. So, it's pretty poetic that I switched away from an OTK Crusadia list, and my rank up game was indeed a Crusadia OTK. Okay, second game. So yeah, play 3 Maximus just to have the OTK option open a bit more. You never know when it'll help. Like then, if I hadn't hard drawn Maximus, I would not have won that, I think. Well, maybe I would have, but Okay, what's here? Oh, this is the Witchcrafter deck. Okay, so draw. Okay, so here I really wanted to see a Crusadia when I see this kind of board usually, but I didn't, and I only have basically 2 engine cards, 4 board breakers, and when you pair with evenly matched again, this kind of board, it's not ideal, but evenly matched with Mekk-Knights is a good pair. Like evenly matched with a Crusadia makes it a bit dead. Like I'm not so happy to see a Crusadia with evenly matched. Of course, you can still link off into whatever else, and then hopefully have a board, hopefully establish a board presence. But evenly with Mekk-Knights is fine. But in this case, I was thinking, okay, what should I do? And I actually think maybe I didn't play optimally here. But I just felt like, let's just get rid of the back row first. Maybe I could have just evenly matched first, and then maybe they kept the back row, and then I Lightning Storm. Or Cosmic Cyclone, but then I wanted to ensure that I actually still had a column, so I thought that maybe the face down monster was the least threatening, so I just wanted to clear the back row and then have this column set up so I could actually go ahead and do my Mekk-Knight shenanigans with the column established. So that's what I did. Lightning Storm, clear the back row first. Double. Okay, yeah, they had double imperm, right? So that was massive Lightning Storm. Thank you. Girsu. Okay, they have Maxi. So what I do at this point? This is why I said I wish I had called by, but so I send Succession. Like I said, this is the usual send. Break. I mean, not break. Smash, and then set one Cosmic. And in this case, Cosmic, I haven't used it, but in this case, I felt like it was great to have because Witchcrafter, of course, back row heavy. If they, activate a continuous spell or something, or like just set something, I can just banish immediately. It's looking good for me, even though they Maxi. But yeah, again, don't take Maxi challenge with a mid-range deck. Only in an OTK deck. So I think I'm in good shape here. And yeah, they just realized because Girsu on the next turn, they probably didn't have anything, and then Girsu on the next turn was just gonna special summon token and then go off, and then I also had an additional normal summon next turn. I think they realized like it was just too difficult to overcome. So yeah, like I said, I could just show you like 20 games, but like you don't learn anything because a lot of games you get lucky and you just win like that, right? So it's a bit of a letdown that I didn't have any epic games, but in this run in, but it is what it is. So start game. Okay, so this hand I really like. Don't like the fact that secret is in hand because you never want to draw secret, right? You want to set with lip and hopefully have a ward breaker here, but otherwise I'm pretty happy with this. Got Maximus, so the OTK is open. I'm always thinking about the OTK nowadays. Got purple, so the special summon under Magius is available, so the Crusadia line is secure. Got a Kaiju to deal with a monster, and got the best card in the game. Let's go. Sprite, Pixies, Maxi. They set. Now look, Maxi wins games, right? If anybody was thinking about cutting Maxi or dropping Maxi a little bit, like, Maxi wins games. I can't help it. Like, I'm a go second weak deck going against big bat Sprite. Like, I need these lucky breaks. I need Maxi, and I need them to not have Ash or Call by or Cross out. That's just how it is. That's how I win. No shame in that. Oops, sorry for the jump cut again. Yeah, I kind of have to go really soon actually. I didn't realize how long it's been, but okay, so let me just wrap this up real quick. So basically, I drew Maximus. I was gonna say, because I drew Maximus and now I unfortunately have two Maximuses in hand, there's no real way of going into the OTK. Why? Because I don't have basically with this hand, in order to get the OTK, you basically need to hold off Maximus until Equimax is on board, and then you special summon Maximus, right? Which means you only have the normal you only have one normal summon with Maximus, and no other special summons apart from the Mekk-Knights. But if I special summon Purple Nightfall, yeah, I get Draco and all that stuff, but I'd still be short on one monster, so the only way would be Purple Nightfall and the Blue Sky. Blue Sky adds, let's say, Indigo, Eclipse, and then you get an extra body so that you can special summon Maximus under Equimax. It's just a resource constraint problem. But the problem is, of course, this player is obviously really good. They play really well around the columns. They were avoiding. Actually, this might be a problem with my freaking username, because this username is basically, Sokyu no Kishi, right? It's the Japanese title for Astrum. It's like Sokyu no Kishi no Asatoramu. So yeah, I just changed Astrum to Sitva, right? So that's me. But then I think it's very obvious people know they're playing against some kind of World Legacy, and when the Mekk-Knights, especially tiers, when they start milling Mekk-Knights, they know they're against a Mekk-Knights deck. They play around the columns. It's kind of annoying. So actually, it's probably better if I just use like player and then change everything off. But sometimes I do that. But then sometimes I just get lazy and don't change it. So yeah, this is definitely a drawback of having the bling. But anyway, so they played around the columns, which means you don't get the Blue Sky ad, which means without a second unique Crusadia name in hand, you're just one material short, and there's no way around it. So there's no real OTK. But yeah, I just wanted to put it out there first. So initially I said like drawing secret was not as good value, but now the fact is, these could be imperms, these could deny my lip setting secret, for example, or it could be like denying Magus or whatever. So I could be short on a material anyway, so it's always a bit risky. But by having secret in hand, at the very least I can probably get Purple Nightfall into the grave at the very least, which allows me to at least be able to special summon Purple Nightfall from the grave using secret to do one negate. And then of course if I do get Purple Nightfall's search off, then I can okay, so in this case I would go straight to Indigo Eclipse, right? And then use Indigo Eclipse, link off into the Equimax M board, and then have War Legacy secret set up to revive Indigo Eclipse, so that I can sort of negate 2 times instead of just once, because Indigo is the shifty boy. And of course with Equimax and Maximus, like you get 1 negate by tributing Maximus off using Equimax. So that's like 3 negates. That's a pretty okay board presence, considering we would be clearing this monster, this Sprite Pixies, off, and probably eating up one of their set back row unless it's not an imperm or something. But there was one imperm, I think it was this one. So yeah, basically getting to that state and being able to play in the mid-range and sort of trade interactions after that, I think that's one thing that's really good about this mid-range deck that of course the OTK list doesn't have. So yeah, anyway, let's just go with it. So obviously you have to normal summon Maximus here. Yep, normal. Okay, so like I said, because they play around the columns, like there was no way of having Blue Sky plus here while being special summoned under Magius, and I wanted to just do as much damage as I could anyway, because I already had Maximus in hand, why not? So I just set secret below Magius and special summon Purple Nightfall here. The alternative would have been to set War Legacy in the middle column, Blue Sky here, and add Indigo Eclipse. Then I have to special summon Maximus under here, and then fetch Draco and all that stuff. So I wouldn't get Maximus's bonus damage, or double damage effect, which again, like I wasn't gonna OTK anyway, but it's part of also the mind games to make your opponent think that you do have the OTK. So you want to just keep them on their toes and just make sure that you don't give away the fact that you're not actually settling for an OT. You don't want to give away the fact that you're actually setting for not OTKing this turn, because this is after all Crusadia looking deck, right? It's got Mekk-Knights and all that, but they don't know this is secret. So they're thinking that I probably have the OTK, and because obviously their board is extremely weak, this could discourage people, or at least fake them out, and then they scoop early, etc. So it's just like you want to play mind games and trick people if you can. I mean, that's just part of the game. Okay, so anyway, try and trigger both searches, and then yep, they do have an imperm, as I said. So the imperm Purple Nightfall, which was I guess it's pretty smart really, because well, I don't know, maybe they could have impermed Magus to try and prevent the OTK, and then okay, whatever, they had to negate one of them and they chose Nightfall just because I guess there's more card advantage with Blue Sky and mechs are higher attack power, etc. blah blah blah. So okay, anyway, they were just kind of in the corner at this point. So of course grab Draco. Honestly, with this sort of lineup, I mean this setup, you could have just I could have just searched any other Crusadia, but again, you're trying to make them think that you're gonna OTK them. So I searched Draco, and then basically Draco's gonna fetch Maximus, right? And if I don't get to fetch Maximus, then that's cool. But then by fetching Maximus back to hand, then they're thinking, oh crap, this guy's gonna OTK me. And I think that's actually what happened in this duel, as you'll see. Yep, so I'm doing the normal thing of going to Spatha and then gonna shift Sprite Pixies over to this column. I could have just actually maybe gone to Morningstar before that, and then Draco below Morningstar, and then go to Equimax, just in case this back row was something else. I could have played around a little bit more. But then Morningstar was not even gonna trigger, like, because I don't have any Mekk-Knights or World Legacy cards in hand. Then they wouldn't have used Imperm on that anyway. So I guess it was like, either way, it's fine. So I do this, Spatha shift into the column, make it look like I'm gonna OTK. This basically looks like the setup. I suspect this player. Oh, actually, yeah, they didn't let me finish. I forgot that I didn't actually go into Equimax. So they basically assumed that I was setting up for the OTK, and they just pieced out. And I think also because they were Master 1 anyway, so they didn't really want to sit around. I guess it's fine. So there was no actual OTK there. The difference was basically, well, do I end on Equimax pointing to Maximus, having that one negate, plus having Purple Nightfall in the graveyard to summon off World Legacy Secret on the third turn? That would be one Omni negate-ish thing. I mean, Equimax is not an Omni negate. It's like an on-field Omni negate. It's not the great Omni negate that we know. And then I have another on-field monster negate with Secret, with Purple Nightfall. And then Purple Nightfall obviously can banish itself and then fetch like Indigo sorry, not Indigo. Next turn will be well, it depends on how the columns are set up. Either Blue Sky or Girsu, right? And then I can continue from there. So that's the beauty of the mid-range. Like you have options, you have answers, and that's what I like compared to the OTK strategy or OTK build. But yeah, so it was between ending on Equimax pointing to Maximus and then Secret set, or ending on Morningstar, keeping the Maximus in hand actually, and then just Morningstar beating over Pixies and then setting up for like that one negate. But in the end, like, of course, like, if you're really afraid of, let's say, evenly matched, then you don't want to commit all your resources. But in this case, I guess it really didn't matter. I just wanted to set up two negates. And of course, Equimax himself can negate evenly matched. It's just a question of how many resources do they have left. And of course, that player, I think he only had 2 cards in hand at the end. So, and the fact that they normal summon Pixies, they could have a Sprite Blue in hand that they could special summon after Pixies, but they didn't, obviously, because of Max C, right? But we know that they didn't get like the normal summons that they liked, which were Swap Frog or Nimble Beaver, that kind of thing. So I like my chances of just setting up the second negate with Equimax pointing to Maximus. And again, of course, Secret reviving Purple Nightfall. If the columns work out that way, Purple Nightfall could end up in a in a zone of Equimaxes. In a zone of Equimax, which is going to boost Equimax's attack by another 2,500. And Purple Nightfall itself is pretty beefy, so it's a pretty beefy looking like sort of setup. Of course, it's very flimsy compared to like the meta boards, but at that stage, like, that's all I could offer. But thankfully, this player just sort of gave up. Okay, so anyway, I'm not gonna show the rest. The defeats, honestly, there's no reason to show the defeats because you're basically just watching them full combo off. And I believe this was like Tears, and yeah, so full combo Tears. This guy had Crime and Suliak both set, as well as Polareno, I remember. So there was absolutely nothing I could have done. You're just gonna watch me sit through this entire combo, and then on my turn I just try like a couple things and then just scoop. And then this one was, I think, Sprite. Oh, sorry, Live Twin Sprite. Yeah, Sprite-ish. This guy was probably testing something, I guess. But again, they had full combo, absolutely full combo. I had no hand traps, and that's what happens when you have no hand traps going second in these meta boards. You just scoop, because unless you are like branded or Tears yourself, you don't have in-engine ways of playing through so much disruption. Especially like their end boards are like 3 to 4 negates. There's really no hope. So I think I'll continue only really showing, okay, unless I have like really good replays of defeats where it's real back and forth, and I'm sure there are some. I'll have to look through my all the recordings, but maybe I'll show some of those. But other than that, like, I think showing victories is not to inflate, like, the impression of the deck. It's just because this you can only see me play if I get to play, and if I don't get to play, well, if the board is too oppressive for me to even play, then you don't learn anything from that clip, so why even upload it, right? So yeah, but hopefully this okay, so I'll definitely look through, and then I'll start uploading, you know, when I have time, but yeah, definitely not this weekend, but hopefully these replays show basically, you know, certain scenarios, how to play, how to think around them, yeah, how to play and how to think about them, and also just the fact that yes, you know, it's a Mekk-Knight Crusadia deck that I played all the way up, and yeah, I'm not the best player. I've said this many times, and it's possible that I may have screwed something up, or I may have like misplayed actually. So let me know in the comments, and also because I'm rushing through this last part, so sorry if I misspeak or something. I'm pretty sure at one point I said something like, oh yeah, I said like lip set secret or something, but I already had secret in hand, something like that, but you get the idea. Okay, so anyway, I gotta go. Hopefully Konami solves this game imbalance issue. Hopefully Kashtira and Labyrinth start slowing down these meta decks. Hopefully Nibiru comes back into force, so that, you know, we don't get so much greedy overextension, and yeah, hopefully season 20 will be a little better for going second. Well, actually, I don't have to go second all the time. It's just the most effective way of playing it right now. But just hopefully in season 20, like Mekk-Knight Crusadia can have a slightly easier time. I don't know. Let's see. All right, let me know if you have any questions below. I gotta go. Peace.